Loves, and the Morning Crew, charging
And of course today, you guys, we have a special guest that's going to be joining us in. This gentleman, I hope you guys have been following his case, young brother. We are so glad for him to have him join us today, Mr. Roderick Talley. How you doing there, baby boy? Why are you up here? When you clap your hand. You want to do the slow clap? Huh, Mia?
I'm clapping.
Hey, nigga,
I'm clapping. I'm happy.
You got to do the slow clap. I can make his hand clap. Okay, anyway. We are here today, guys. Thank you for joining us. And first of all, let's go into our main topic. Then we're going to do some trending. And, of course, I'm going to talk to Mr. Talley here, this young brother, about what's been going on with him. Because this is going to segue into next week's show. And for those of you, I normally don't like to spoil it, but we're going to go ahead and spoil it. Because hopefully, hey, Trina, we're going to spoil it for just a couple of people. Because next week's show is going to be why you need to get your black out and vote. Okay? Because we need to change some things around here. And, well, beside the fact we're going to go to the trending and stuff, that'll kind of explain it all. And Mr. Talley here. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the him too versus me too. And accountability versus deniability. Hey, by the way, Ms. Woke, that was a very nice layout that you did there. That was kind of sexy. I think I'm going to have Head Stanford steal it from you like a meme. we're going to have to start using that.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I can dig it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who got their phone over there by the thing? Head Stanford, is that you?
Somebody's staticking.
Yeah, there you go, dude.
Put that Sprint phone down.
Yeah.
That me?
No, that's an Obama phone. Oh, that's your Obama phone?
That's the Obama phone.
It's the Obama phone. Okay. Okay, Head Stanford. Okay, I got you. All right, now we're going. Him too versus me too. For those of you guys that did not know, a couple of months ago, or a month ago, should we say, we had to deal with a horrifying political circus, which was, of course, the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh, or drunk Kavanaugh, as I like to call him. And, of course, we all had to sit through that agonizing nonsense, which we all knew was political theater because they were going to confirm him anyway. It was already said. So when we talk about voting and why we need to change what's going on here in this country, that's the reason why we need to, because it's called solidifying power. And when people solidify power, you are powerless. Okay? So when we talk about the essence of it, it's accountability versus deniability. And we talked about this because it's always about me too versus him too. And so many times on this show, we've always talked about toxic masculinity. And we've also talked about accountability. So the question becomes, is what is hyperfemininity in our society causing backlash? Because when the Brett Kavanaugh thing came out, there was a big backlash. There were people that wanted to defend him who were women, which I'm surprised that happened. And of course, naturally, there were actually men and women that were defending Dr. Ford. So the question becomes: has the Me Too movement kind of gotten a little out of hand? You've had Bill Cosby went down. You had Harvey Weinstein. He's a petty. An assaulter.
He ain't gone down yet.
Yeah, he ain't gone down yet. Yeah,
right.
That's interesting. We'll talk about that. Then of course Brett Kavanaugh's was in it. So the question becomes is, everything in this country seems to become on a 24-hour news cycle, political circus type thing, and then it becomes a trend for a minute. You see what I'm saying? Then once the trend goes, it goes away. Then another trend comes up, and then we into it.
Right. So
the question is, in the era of, and the hyper-feminine movement ain't just something that just started now. It's been you've seen women empower themselves since Trump has become president, and now you're seeing women rise up like Darth Vader. Hey, Ron Don. And you're seeing women rise up to a level now that it seems that it's very hyper-feminine. So now you see the Me Too movement come out. And then now what has happened in counteracting that, you had this thing called the Him Too. Well, because, and me and you talked about this, what we talked about this, about has it become to a point now that men can get accused of anything and it'll stick? And
I think,
go ahead.
Well, I think that the problem is accusations shouldn't be enough.
Right.
I am all for people being brought to justice or having to pay for any of their deeds if they have assaulted any type of woman.
Right.
But there is a such thing as due process.
Right.
And as someone who has brothers, who I have sons, there are a lot of guys that are very, very important to me.
Right.
And I think that all of them are stand-up men. I can't imagine that any of them would have done something that would affect them that way. But having said that, an accusation could, just anybody feeling any sort of way. And I had to have a real discussion with my boys, with my sons, and say, hey, you got to be real, real careful out here with who you are dealing with. Right. Because it shouldn't be that just me saying somebody did something is enough. Right. And then beyond that, if I got something out of it, then I shouldn't be able to come back 20 years and say that I had a problem with it now if I didn't have a problem with it then.
Okay. Well, and look, let's just be real. I'm not trying to in any way justify women who are being, sexually assaulted.
Absolutely not.
Well, I ain't lying. I wouldn't mind a couple of my grade school sexy teachers assaulting me back in the day. Because if they win the lottery, I'm going to let them know I got touched. You touched me.
Stop talking under your breath. My folks can't hear you.
Oh, well, I'm looking for the
Say
goat.
It loud.
Because the goat touched me like 20 years ago, and they rich now. So, okay. So, anyway. So, and I'm not trying to minimize that. But, there's a reason why they say why people who get sexually assaulted don't, think about it like this. We talk about it even with the church. With these boys who've been touched by the priest. They hold and harbor that stuff for 20 years, and they grow up with it. And then now that it's been exposed in the church, now everybody's coming forward and saying, hey, these guys did it, because I think the argument is that they don't have a voice when it happens. Don't get me wrong. Well, we had people that had family members that molest family members, and they grow up with it and they don't say anything. It's like the dirty secret in the family that nobody ever talks about until that person died and then he got in the funeral. Black folks.
When we talked about it before, Django, I said, when I was 12, I was raped over and over and over again over a summer. And I didn't tell anybody that because I was terrified to. Right. Because I didn't think anybody would believe me. He threatened and said he would hurt my brother it's a lot of reasons why people don't tell.
Right.
And I don't think that not telling at the time doesn't mean that nothing happened.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't just say something and then not have due process. You gotta have due process.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I believe we believe but verify. That's what we should do. We should always verify. Let me go to Head Sanford, and then I'm gonna ask Mr. Talley over here what he think about it. I think he has a case that's gonna kind of be a little bit similar when we get into it. What you talk to me, Head Sanford? What you think?
Think about what the
Him Too versus Me Too. Hey, Paul.
I don't know. I think a lot of people just need to sit back and listen to others because they always make the assumption that somebody is lying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, be sympathetic when a person is saying they've been through some
sympathetic.
Yeah.
Right. And that I think that when we talk about that, and now what has happened is, when the Me Too movement came out, we're seeing people who we've known forever, like getting jammed up. I mean, Bill Cosby, who thought he gonna be up there, doing cornrows right now, 80 years old. I mean, I'm just being real. I'm expecting like Bill Cosby gonna be buff when he come out. You know what I'm saying? He got he gonna be sitting around here doing videos from the penitentiary library. Tell me, send me some tuna fish. What tuna fish?
Making grilled cheese with the iron.
Yeah, grilled cheese with the iron and stuff. So hold on, I want to talk to our special guest, Mr. Roderick. How you doing there today, young man? I'm doing all right. You doing all right? All right. Let's talk. There you go.
Can you hear me?
We got him now. Right. We got him.
First, I guess I want to say to the woman on the other end, I can't remember her name.
Miss Woke, troublemaker.
Okay,
she's a troublemaker. So don't.
First of all, I just want to say I apologize that you had to go through that when you were a teenager.
What's up, Mike?
And I guess from my perspective, I feel like you too. It should be more than just an accusation. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I've been on both sides of it, my sister having to kind of experience what you went through, mm-hmm. and then having situations where women have falsely accused guys just because out of their own ill will, so
right.
And it's hard enough, just being a man mm-hmm. in general in society, a black man,
right, and
then to live with the accusation of someone saying that you would do something to violate a person in that way and then have to fight for your freedom. That's a scary feeling. So like you say, I think it should be more than just an accusation, mm-hmm. as opposed to and then coming out 20, 30 odd years later and speaking up. Not saying that you shouldn't say anything, but if at the time that it happened and to wait 20 and 30 years to get the courage to say something, I think it should be more than just an accusation.
Right.
All right. That's what I'm
and thank you for that, Roderick. I appreciate it.
Young, sharp brother, ain't he? He's just young
and
sharp.
He is a sharp young man.
Yeah, sharp brother. See? Now, what happened to you? Anyway, hold on. This hell and high water over here. You want to do anything besides be the stenographer for the day, Dollar? You just going to sit up. You good.
I'm waiting for the big topic.
Oh, you waiting for the big topic? Okay, hold on. Let me go. You know what? Bump your topic, man. We get ready to go, and we get ready to go talk to Mr. Talley over here. So we're going to talk to him. So, Roderick, this is what I want you to do. Thank you for coming in today, bro, and sharing your story. What I want you to do is I want you to come share for those of you people who are listening now, because we're going nationwide. Okay. I want you to tell them what happened, explain to it for those who are not familiar with it, and then share your experience about what has happened and how it has worked out in your favor. And, of course, you'll do your shout-out to your nationally famous attorney, Mr. Benjamin Crump. Go ahead and tell everybody what happened. Go on, bro. Talk to us. Tell us something now.
Okay. Last year, August the 10th.
Okay. Can we got him?
I can't hear Django.
You can't hear him? Okay, hold on. We're going to switch mics.
Okay.
See, the devil trying to mess with us today, but we ain't going.
Right. I need to hear it. I need all my viewers to hear it.
I'm good now? Okay. For those that don't know, on August the 10th of 2017, I was a victim of the Little Rock Police Department SWAT team raiding my apartment. I woke up about 6:22 in the morning to probably the loudest explosion that I've ever heard in my life. And my front door landed on top of me, and following that was like gang of guys just flooding in the apartment with looked like riot gear on, gun strapped to their chest, to their backs, and holding them in their arms. And I just heard, "Don't move," Little Rock SWAT, search warrant, don't move, we're gonna shoot. And so I just threw my hands up in the air, and I noticed my dog had ran, kind of cowered up under me next to a bench. And they came in, brought K9s, searched the apartment. Some other officers in plain clothes came in. And I still, at the time, I didn't know exactly why they were there, but I had knew some prior events that had happened like a week before, that something didn't seem right. And upon them being in there, they detained me. They wound up being arrested and taken to the county jail, and I was later released. And then I kind of started to put things together into perspective. Actually on my trip to the jail, because when they came in my home, they took some money out of my pocket. They counted it, put it in an envelope, and put it in my freezer. And I didn't understand it. Why? Usually when police take your money, they take your money. So they arrested me, told me I was going to be charged with possession of marijuana and instrument of crime, which they didn't show me any of this. It's just what they told me they were charging me with. I got released, went back home, and upon trying to get into my home, my door was locked. They called the police on me again. Yeah, they called the police on me again to come back to my apartment. And I eventually gained entry into it. And upon that, I reviewed my surveillance system, got my phone, and I kind of put two and two together. And I noticed a week prior, like I said, a guy had showed up at my apartment door that I didn't know. And I'm familiar with everybody in my neighborhood, from my neighbors to the management. And so that's when I like, well, this guy came by. Then on August the 4th, an officer had came by my apartment taking pictures of my door. And at that time, it started to all come together and make sense. And that's when I said, well, this guy came to my door. It had to have come from a drug buy that they are alleging happened. And then the officer to come take pictures, because I had ran it by my dad also, who works, he's a school teacher. And he had told one of his officer friends what was going on. And he told me, they're probably about to kick your door in. And so when I went to my lawyer and I told him, I went to court first, and I pled not guilty. And I let them know that I wanted to have a probable cause hearing. Right. And to those that don't know, a probable cause hearing is something that you can ask for whenever they serve a search warrant on your home. Right. And they have to fill out what's called a probable cause affidavit in order to for a judge to sign off and get the search warrant to come into your home. And so upon getting a hearing, I showed back up that day. I hired an attorney. And is it okay? Can I be honest on this show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Please
I hired an attorney by the name of Willard Proctor. And for anybody out there, do not hire this guy. Do not hire him.
Lord, I had him back in 1990. Oh, Lord.
I hired him and showed him my videos. And he, him being a former judge, he was like, I never seen this before, catching officers, on video with audio. And so upon my probable cause hearing, which was scheduled for October the 20th, I went in, with the mind frame that I'm going to show them these videos. They're going to do something to these officers, and justice is going to be served. Well, I get there, and before I can make it in front of the judge, they're hollering case dismissed. So I was like, oh, nah, something not right about this. And so at that point, I called a couple of civil rights attorneys trying to tell them. I went to internal affairs. I got nothing from nobody. Right. Arkansas, period. It literally took a Caucasian.
Big Derek.
It actually took a Caucasian attorney telling me, when I was calling him about a client of his, and he told me, he said, man, if I could take your case, I would. But my law firm, we have relationships with the police, so I couldn't help you even if I wanted to. So then that's when I made up my mind myself, like, I got to do something on my own, because I got to get their attention, because nobody wants to listen. And I went to the law library, the federal law library right here on Capitol Street, and I went in there and just researched on what to do, reviewed other cases, and I filed my own lawsuit. And after I did that,
so you did it pro se?
Yes, sir. I filed pro se, yes, sir. And I online, and when I was here with Mr. Coleman before, he made a great note of that also, that use your phones for something more than just looking up nonsense. Everything you need to know is on the internet. Right. And I used it to the best of my ability. And so after I filed my lawsuit, I went to the courthouse and actually asked for copies of every case that those officers on my paperwork had asked for. I found out there were 3 of them. I can say their name: Mark Eisen, Robert Bell, and Lonnie Leachty. They were all officers that were on my paperwork that said that they observed a drug buy happening in my apartment,
right?
Which was false by the video,
right?
I come to find out as I got the Freedom of Information Act request and got copies of their cases, I noticed that this had been going on for quite a few years.
Right.
And so I took the time up to date. I've literally gone through 269 different cases involving people in the past 4 years that have basically had the same style search warrant, the same, they use the same informant on a lot of these search warrants. And after me filing this request, because I think a lot of people thinking now since it's a lawsuit that I was after money. I went there with the intent to get justice. I talked to the city attorneys. I talked to whoever I could to try to get some justice, and nobody wanted to listen. So that just pushed me more. And I think I'll be honest. I think they just caught me at the wrong time. I was in a place where I was trying to find out who I was, and I had drowned myself in a lot of things about Black history and Black culture, and just seeing how we were getting treated. So at that point, it just infuriated me more. It made me want to do more. And they just kept closing the door in my face. So after that, I went through these files and I called these people. I actually got on the phone, whatever contact number or next of kin that they had. I called like, hey, something ain't right with your case. Don't if you go to court, just don't miss court and don't plead guilty. Right. I said, because your case looks like mine. And upon calling these people, a lot of people were kind of hesitant, like, man, how you know my information? This sound like the police. And a lot of people were just, kind of scared. But I'm just like, I don't know too many guys that'll call me and tell me, hey, don't plead guilty to your case because they've lied and set you up. And so as I'm going through the process, I'm filing stuff posting things online, just trying to make everybody aware because I don't know a lot of people in Little Rock. So I just wanted some people to know what was going on. Right. And it wound up catching people's attention. And at that point, that's when I started catching headaches from trying to get more information from the clerks. Like they purposely withheld information from me. They tried to silence me. They filed like a gag order, which was crazy. In civil court, they filed a gag order to try to stop me from posting the officers' names and pictures online but they have social media accounts. So how can you stop me from posting something that's already public? Right. And
right.
So my thing about it is, so what we're talking about here, I think it was telling this. Yes, when we talk about getting warrants, okay, so let me tell you what I know. Sir. All right. Hey, Doug, how you doing, Professor? I'm sorry everybody want to come hear me. They want to hear about this today. Sir. We got some media going on.
Yeah.
Sharman over here just dancing over in the side. How you doing? Oh, by the way, Ron Don is here. How you doing there, bro? You still in trouble, bro. Late. That's $5, bro. Okay, so what we're talking about when a police officer goes to the judge and asks for a warrant, you know how easy it is him to get a warrant? All you gotta do is say, hey, yeah, we saw this, blah, 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 and the warrant like, oh, okay.
Stamp. Yes, sir.
That's how easy it is.
It's easy.
How did they confuse this young brother
So,
with...
Can you talk a little bit about the no knock?
Yeah, that's my issue because I had an issue with this when this came down. This ruling came down about no knock entrances because that's going to get some people killed. I'm just going to be real with you. I thought that's bad law. I've always thought that was bad law. And I want to thank you for not giving up, bro.
Yes, sir.
I would suggest a career in legal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And be a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Because, see, we need more lawyers like him that are actually willing to go out here and get stuff done and not trying to sit around here and just get cases settled and just be done with it.
Yes, sir.
A lot of lawyers, unfortunately, when they've been in the field a lot, and trust me, I know a lot of my friends who I went to law school with, lawyers, they practicing now. I work with them sometimes. I work, do little stuff for them. But here's the point. So many of them get burned out after a certain time. They're just doing the least to get by to make their money.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and I'm not saying that against, yes, Nikki G, Ronnie's here. So, that was Ron Don here. Yes, he's here. Everybody here but you. But anyway, let me stop. Let me stop. You got to get to a point that, when you got to be more Roman J. Israel sometimes.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
you got to get out here and see things for social justice cause. Say, look, sometimes some things you just got to fight on principle.
Yes, sir.
And don't give up. Because this system is not doing us any favors.
No.
Black president, white president, Obama or Trump, this system is still not going to do us any favors.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need more strong brothers and sharp brothers like you to know where to go find these resources.
Yes, sir.
Get your butt off the sink.
Yeah.
Stop flashing money, black folks.
Yes, sir.
And get out here and do something.
Yes, sir.
don't know who that is.
So, Django,
Yes.
prior to seeing this story on Facebook earlier this week, I didn't know anything about this case, and I didn't even realize that there was a no-knock rule. And I think that puts me, as well as most of our listeners, at a disadvantage when you don't know different aspects of the law and how things change. So, if you can I know that you are an attorney, so if you guys can just speak to what that rule allows for any of our listeners.
What, the no-knock rule?
Yes.
The no-knock rule was in the interest of what they call more efficient law enforcement. The no-knock rule allows, when there's enough probable cause established, that police can enter your home now without even so much as announcing that they're police. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. The first thing you notice that this young brother said is he said that he heard his door fly open.
Right.
And he heard a loud noise. That meant they put a flashbang at his door, or they did what's called a ram, a battering ram, and knocked his door. So you have to understand this. You're in your house late at night, chilling, Netflix and chill, Fire Stick and chill, whatever you want to, and you sitting around here and you hear your door come open. And let's just argue that you don't live in Chenal Valley.
Which most of these people did.
Hold on, I'm getting ready to ask because Nikki G wanted to know, did anything happen to the informant?
He's still walking around here free.
Of course he is, because he's gonna lie on the next case so he can keep himself out of trouble. Yeah,
Right.
That's what happened.
But he lied.
Yeah, he lied, Rhonda.
So
He walking free.
how can you lie and all that go down and
He's
you free?
He's
Officers
protected by
too.
police.
Because
Yeah.
then he
But you lie to the cops, you get obstructing governmental operation. But anyway,
Police officer did too, because he's the one who came by, didn't he?
Well, hold on.
Right.
Hold on. So you living in, let's just say, a rough area, and your door come flying open. What's the first instinctive thing you gonna do?
Thanks.
Grab my pistol.
You gonna grab a pistol,
Right.
Because you gonna think it's a home invasion. So what
Right.
happens if you accidentally shoot a cop or a menacing figure coming through your door late at night, and they have not identified themselves or they have not knocked? You shoot the cop. Guess what you catch? You catch capital murder.
Exactly.
Unless
So
you
you
Exactly.
lose,
12 cops, right?
huh?
It was
real SWAT, yeah.
It was 12 cops. Right?
12 cops. So yeah, you getting bum rushed in your house in the middle of the night with a no knock
And you had no idea it was cops.
1-bedroom apartment. Yeah.
in a 1-bedroom apartment. Now he's cornered.
And you ended up
And
under the
correct
bar.
me if I'm wrong. Out of the cases that were
He was
the
on
no
the
knock, I think it was like 133,
Right.
like 112 were all African American or something like that. You can give me the right numbers, but I do recall it being disproportionately African Americans, black folks that are
African-American,
getting
right.
affected by this, as always, per usual.
Right. Now, do you think Jeff Sessions gonna do anything about this?
No.
That's what you.
No.
When you take it to the federal level, because the only way you stop this, you got to take it to the federal level.
I actually like wrote a 23-page letter to the Justice Department and overnighted it to them back in July. I haven't heard anything. I called the FBI 3 times, let them know, and I haven't heard anything.
Well, good luck with that. 'Cause right
Yeah.
now we're dealing with bombs being mailed out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that
They
too.
caught the suspect.
Yeah, they caught the suspect. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Well, we got 30 whole minutes. Still talk about that. So when you talk to, and I saw a Facebook post that was sent that said that you basically were exonerated from it all, and it was boom, done, data, finito, and that's
Of
great.
course, but still, he got
Yeah.
But there are parts of your life you can't get back with that. And see, this is the downfall of the justice system. So often we hear about brothers being released from jail after faulty evidence, proctorial misconduct, all of that stuff. And let me just give you a little information that some of y'all don't know. You do know that if a prosecutor prosecutes you on bad information or sculpatory evidence, and it's not known, there's really no recourse against the prosecutor. You do know that, right?
Immunity.
They have immunity for bad prosecution, which is bad because that means prosecutors can prosecute you based on bias. They can prosecute you based on not liking you. They can prosecute you based on race. They can.
Okay, well, do you remember that incident in North Carolina where the young lady said those guys raped her, sexually assaulted her? and the white guy jumped right on it. The lawyer, and he got disbarred
Hold on.
immediately.
The lawyer that defended
He
him
got disbarred because I guess he handled it wrong. The guy was innocent.
Hold on, are we talking about the prosecutor or are we talking about the defense attorney?
The prosecutor.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I'm
Oh,
talking
the
about.
Duke lacrosse case. Well, then
And you saying there's no consequences?
No. But see, you have to understand this. It's just like what is called a discrimination case. You know why so many lawyers don't take discrimination cases? Because they hard to prove. Because in other words, you have to go to your lawyer and you have to say, well, I think they discriminated me because of my race. Mm-hmm. But you can't sit up here and ask somebody, hey, did you discriminate against Rondon and Mr. Talley because you don't like their color of their skin? All they got to do is say, no, you have no case. You see what I'm saying? You have to show action. So when the prosecutor got disbarred because of prosecutorial misconduct, that's because he did something that was obvious that the bar was able to see. But if you can't judge a prosecutor's motive just because being that it's an elected position, that's the wrong thing. It's a political position. Okay, and because it's a political position, and they did an article right here in the Arkansas Times in Arkansas about prosecutors, how they live with themselves in Arkansas and how they let cases go to court that should not be going. They do it. They do it all over Arkansas. And the people that are segregated the most and the people that are stepped on the most are poor people primarily and minorities.
Right.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
Here's my question. Here's my question in regard to Mr. Talley. So he has this video that shows that there was no crime, that there was no drug buy.
Okay.
Yet the police officer in question said that he also observed the drug buy, which did not happen, and it also shows no activity on the video. In this particular instance, where's the recourse? I mean, he has all the documentation.
Right.
What happens now? I mean, as a society, I'm saying I'm more outraged at the fact that he's had to do all of this. This happened last August. Here we are just now saying, oh, these charges are going to be dismissed. Why has it been prolonged? Why, as a community, aren't we saying, okay, yes, kudos, Mr. Talley, for being ambitious and following up with the law, but why should you have to?
I mean, does he still have a job?
No, I moved out of Arkansas.
Oh, that's the best thing you did get. He got up out of here.
Does that police officer have a job still?
Yes, ma'am. He just arrested somebody. A couple of them have just arrested somebody earlier this week.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It don't never change. What's next week's show gonna be? Name of it again?
Why you need to get your
Black
And vote.
Because let me tell you something. Because there's a lot of this person just called me again. What is this? Am I to pay me no mind list when I'm on the show? People just want to call my phone.
I told you to set your phone to do not disturb.
I'm gonna set somebody's skull to do not disturb because I'm gonna put them hands on them. But anyway,
Charges.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But then the cop, the guy here can come get me. So yeah. So when we talk about these things, and I believe have you gotten any type of compensation?
I haven't even gotten I'm sorry or
what?
My bad. Like nobody said anything. Only the most love I got been from people like you all and just people out around social media and my family. Like that's the most love I've gotten. They've said nothing. They've denied it actually. To this day, they're still denying it. Even though cases are getting dismissed, they're still denying it.
How many cases have been dismissed?
Off the top of my head that I know of, I know at least 7.
7 have been dismissed. I wonder how many of those are African American.
All of them except for the young lady in the news, Miss can't remember her name. Caldwell, Miss Candace Caldwell. Yeah,
Candace Caldwell.
Her case was dismissed also. She was actually given a citation. She wasn't even arrested, but
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
But yeah, that's
so
colonizer mother. But anyway, go ahead.
Can I ask a question, Roderick? What you described is, it sounds completely traumatic. Like I would be traumatized. Right. How are you doing since this happened? I mean, do you think that could give you post-traumatic stress syndrome? In my mind, it could. But how are you? How are you doing?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, at first I was only fearful in the sense of the police. If I was actually, speeding or doing something that I knew was wrong. But now it's just kind of like if I see him, I want to avoid him at all costs. And I definitely don't want to call him for nothing because
Now you got to go back to the age of 12 to try to think about every little piece of candy that you might have taken out the grocery store.
It's
Right.
a scary feeling.
And then people wonder and see. This is the greater dynamic. In fact, I'm gonna get Super Dave in here because he might get lost. You want to get in some of this, Super Dave? No, you sure? Because I can give you the mic. You sure?
We've talked before.
We talk. Okay, I know you have. Okay. So, and this is the reason why I say this. When we hear people say, "Well, why don't black folks, when cops shoot African Americans, minorities, why don't black folks trust the cops? And why do African Americans or minorities have this certain view of the cops?" This is why. This is why. Because it's just like Malcolm X said. Black people don't escape from prison. Yeah, white folks do. White folks will try to escape from prison. Why do black folks try to escape from prison? Because even when you're out of jail, you still in prison.
So, Roderick, how are you moving? Nikki G had a question.
Yes,
she had a
did.
couple of things to say. So let me throw that out there. First of all, she believes you need to be compensated, and so do I.
Yeah, you need to get paid, bro.
Number one, and then also she wanted to know, how are you moving forward?
I don't want to say anxious, but I'm just kind of, I guess I grow impatient at times because
Right.
I was doing this for so long by myself, and I guess the reason I'm impatient is because a lot of these guys that are incarcerated, I talk to them, I email them, I answer their calls. You know, I try to let them know like I can't make it happen overnight, but I'm trying my best to make it happen because I know one young man that's been in there 2 years because of these officers. Was not in a house. He was standing outside actually, and they ran his record and saw that he had priors, so they took him on to jail too. And after sitting down there in Cummings for 2 years, the state drops his charges, and now the feds they're absorbing the cases that people don't take plea deals. Some people have stood up; they
Right.
just can't be heard. They're taking their cases and pulling them up to federal court as in another sense to intimidate them to go ahead and plead out, so that they can wash their hands of the bad that they've done.
Right.
So I that's the only reason I guess at times I grow impatient because I want to see, I couldn't imagine if the last 2 years I had been sitting in there for something that I had nothing to do with.
Right.
So.
And that's 2
Have
years
you
you
seek
can't
out
get back.
any therapy or anything?
No man, I didn't because I didn't have no insurance. So
Oh my God! I'm so disgusted right now.
yeah, man, so I didn't think to go anywhere because I couldn't afford it. So I
Right.
had to relocate after this happened. So yeah, no man, I talked to my family, and that's, I guess that's therapeutic enough, and not being here and looking over my shoulders for the most part. But
How long have you been in Little Rock before that happened?
I had been in Little Rock for 8 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You from the country?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He ain't missing nothing. I'm just saying, you act like he missing
You
something.
went back to the country?
Don't be trying to sell him Arkansas. Oh, yeah. I know these Arkansas boy. Look, so and that's my thing. And I hate that we got to kind of segue into something else because it's trending
Yes, sir,
now.
yes,
so
sir.
we're gonna keep you
Yes,
here.
sir, yes, sir.
I'm gonna keep you here. I'm gonna kidnap you for a minute.
All right.
While Helen Howard, she got to go and do her thing, but. I want to thank you for coming in and sharing your story with Devil's Advocate.
Thank
I
you
wanna
so
thank
much,
you.
Roderick.
No
Yeah,
problem. Thank
and
you
don't
for
and don't
listening.
give up, bro.
Yes, sir.
Please
And I would
don't. We
suggest
got
a
your back,
career.
man.
Yes, sir.
A career. I would say law enforcement, but law enforcement is so corrupt they'll try to just absorb you. I would say a legal career.
Yes,
You
sir.
can be for a court right now if you deciding to go to law school. I got a friend of mine who decided now he wants to go to law school, and he's past my age. He's going. I'm out, but
sir.
he's going. It's never too late to do what you want to do.
You're not a veteran, are you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Wow, you got something for veterans? I am.
You taken care of.
Hold on, wait a minute. I am. What you got? What you got? Son? You got some fish sandwich? What you got? I'm sure I'm hungry.
You all right? I ain't worried about you right now.
Anyway.
Everything ain't about you, Django.
Okay.
Everything ain't about you.
I just want a fish sandwich. What with cheese? What's wrong? Okay, you know what? $5 for you two. Anyway, so we want. I would suggest to do some court advocacy, and do that and be what is called a layman between the system and the inmates right now, and definitely look at a career in legal.
Okay.
Because we need more attorneys out here like that. We need people out here fighting the good fight. Young, smart, strong brothers to get out here and fight the fight.
For sure.
Bye, Helen Highwater. I see
Bye,
fire.
Helen.
Yeah, I see fire coming out the door when she's leaving. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do a segue. We're going to go ahead and do a break. And then we're going to come back with the trending, folks. Right here, Devil's Advocate.
friends, or even a romantic dinner for two. Black Swan Catering can handle it all. Try our mouth-watering brisket, savory smoked chicken, scrumptious meals and appetizers, or tantalizing sweet treats. We'll customize any menu to suit your needs and guarantee a flavorful and festive event for you and your guests. Check us out at blackswancaterers.com or give us a call at 501-240.
Having issues with child support, traffic tickets, criminal matters, family, wills, estates, and probate matters? Call Jimmy C. Morris of the Morris Law Firm here in Little Rock, Arkansas, an aggressive powerhouse attorney that will fight for you. Call him 7 days a week from Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekend appointments are also available. And also, check out Jimmy Morris on The Devil's Advocate once a month for our infamous Ask the Attorney segment as he talks about social, political, and legal issues. Check him out, and his dedicated staff of professionals will fight for justice for you. Again, that's the Jimmy C. Morris Law Firm. His number is 501-319-7647. That's the Jimmy C. Morris Law Firm. His number is 501-319-7647. Call him.
All right.
Tanya, Yvette, Gloria, Timmy, Mary.
What you counting, Mia?
I'm just saying hi to everybody on my live while y'all.
Okay, yeah, you doing
I'm
like
sorry.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, you stealing all my fan base. Look at you.
I am not stealing your fan base.
They all up on your live. Nikki, do you ever ask a question through you?
You know why they get on my live? It's because they can hear y'all, and on your live they can't hear me.
Yeah, we can.
So on mine they can hear everybody. I'm just trying to tell you why it's happening like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I hear you, pimp. I hear
They
you.
don't love me no more than they love you. They love you, dude. They love you.
You trying to say they love you more than they love me? What you trying to say?
I'm not. I'm saying they love you, Django. Everybody love Django.
No, everybody hate Django. That's okay. But that's okay, though. We going to be all right. So let's talk about trending. This trending has been real interesting. Again, another week in reality show America. What in the world is going on? So this week, just for y'all that do not know, is that when we saw it this week, which was just I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to downplay on the sister a little bit. There was a footage of Dr. Phil's show with this sister that disavowed her blackness. Young girl, 16 years old. Lord help us, Jesus. This is why we can't have good things. And man, maybe you can help me understand it. Head Sanford, you can help me understand it. You have daughters, don't you?
I can help you understand it.
Yep.
Maybe you can. I have sons. Me, you have sons. You have daughters. You got sons.
I
know you
have
got
both. I have 2 sons and 1 daughter.
Okay, I got a cat. But anyway, it just help me understand what's going on. Hey, Tasha. Help me understand what's on this girl's mind and what can be said, because this is the worst case of probably evident self-hate I've ever seen.
Well, I really don't want to say this because I know I'm going to get into trouble.
Yeah, you're going to get into trouble, but go ahead and say it anyway.
I feel like this young lady has problems. Like, okay. I don't know how she can possibly look in the mirror and believe that she is not a black girl. Right. But she says that she's not, and we are supposed to get behind it. And, a couple of years ago, we had Rachel Dolezal, who said that she was black. So I'm trying to understand why you have these folks who are saying that they are a different race or a different gender, or they have body dysmorphia. And so you have a lot of anorexics that look in the mirror and they see a fat person. So here's my question. I don't know really how to address it the right way, but what I'll say is that if we look at one and say that this is an accepted thing and it's not anything that's mentally disturbed about it, that you can be whatever gender you want and there's fluidity in gender, then I'm not quite sure
Right.
why we wouldn't say the same thing about the people who believe that they are white and they're clearly black,
Right.
or the person that believes that they're black and they're clearly white.
Right.
I'm not throwing any, like, I'm not saying anything bad about transgender folks out here, but I do want to make sure that we look at it broadly.
Okay.
So because you have folks that are saying they're transracial now, right?
Transracial.
So where does that stop?
They're kind of like
And
trans
how do
fat.
we go about talking about it in a way that's respectful to people,
Right.
but also, like, I don't know. It's very few times I'm at a loss of words.
Yeah.
But
That-
this is
yeah,
one of
that-
those
that- that
times that
time
I'm
you
like,
lost words.
how do
But,
we talk about this that makes it okay?
Okay. Hold on. Head Sam, I think got something to say. I'm gonna go to Ron Don right quick.
Well, what you need to do with those individuals, you just have to sit down and talk to them and just dig deep and just ask questions, listen to them, and find out why they feel that a certain way. Usually it's something that happened years ago. They was teased. I know certain people that I grew up with that was dark skinned, they would get teased a lot. So when they got older, it's like, dang, I hate this dark skin.
Right.
That could be the issue with her. Maybe she was bullied as a kid. She was somewhere where a lot of people was picking on her about her race or her skin, and she developed that self-hate.
Well, understand this too, and see, this is what they didn't allude to in the little video shot. You obviously heard stepfather or father.
Yeah,
was white.
Was white.
Right. She thought it was her father, I think, and then found out that it wasn't her biological father.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Right. And see, this is why I have when the mother named her Treasure. I'm like, oh God. Okay. And the reason why I said there's nothing wrong with naming your child that, but I think her mother has kind of lived in this notion that she's more than who she is too. That's why that mother allowed that treasure. Now she's a broken treasure because that's and look, I don't want to hit on her mom too much, but something was implanted in her at a young age and has been allowed. So poison was allowed to fuck. I'm like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Now, if all white women and colonizers,
one she
you're
picked.
gonna go with her?
So you saying her
And
mom
Kim Kardashian don't like nothing but black men.
Thank
so,
you.
like,
Go ahead.
I'm
There
like,
goes,
how
Stanley.
that's the one you're going with.
Yeah, you're gonna go with Kim Kardashian. Well, I'm
Why
like
you go
her.
with Sarah Palin?
And
Because that's who she sounded like.
that's who she sounded like she didn't have a clue. And the sad part about it all, and this was so funny about it, talking about I'm not black, I don't like the black people, they're just like, yeah. And see, I'm wondering if that stepfather didn't implant that in her. Because see, one thing I think that we're so caught up about, and look, hey, I'm not caught up about who people choose to love. But I've been telling y'all, didn't I tell y'all this, that a lot of these colonizers are adopting and marrying our people so they can sit around here and indoctrinate us with their belief system? Didn't I tell y'all that a couple of months ago? And I'm not saying it because, look, I sat around here and just to show you, I'm in Facebook jail again. I'm in Facebook jail again. Look, brother got issues, okay? I'm in Facebook jail again. Some of the cats who I sit up here and watch on social media, okay, that sit around here and do the wackiest right-wing, nonsensical conversations of people that are married to black people. And the first thing I be thinking about is, what does your spouse think about your views? When you sit around here and you talk bad about the first African-American president, how did they sit comfortable and not squirm to it? And it's like they've indoctrinated them to think the same way. One guy sat around here and talked about Democrats and liberals. He's in West Virginia. His wife is black. His whole family's black. But when you sit around here and listen to what he says, I'm like, how can they stand to be around you? You understand what I'm saying? Because clearly his views are out the mainstream. And I'm not saying this. Look, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying this so people don't. If you love you don't want to marry a colonizer man or colonizer, go and do your thing. But my thing is, you better be careful when we talk about cross-culturing. What's their agenda to come into your culture for? That's why I have an issue, and I don't care. Love is universal. But I have an issue when I see a lot of these so-called Republicans trying to adopt minority kids, because I think a lot of the reason why they're trying to adopt them so they can raise them to be good, conservative, biased Republicans.
I don't know if they're looking that deep into it necessarily, but what I'll say to you is this country has, when I was growing up, they called America the melting pot.
Yeah.
And I, even at a young age, didn't like that characterization. of the melting pot, because that would mean that we're all merging into one kind of look. And what we know is the dominant look that you would merge into is that of the majority of folks in this country, which are white folks.
Right.
And so you have to abandon your own ideology, your own culture, the things that
Your
you
cultural
know
identity.
that and love, things that make you uniquely you. And I push back on that notion quite a bit. I think that multiple races can live in a country and get along just fine and live and prosper, but I think it works a whole lot better when we have individual respect for who we are as an individual, be very proud of our culture, not our race, our
Right.
culture, because we are more than just a race. We are a culture.
Right.
And I think that the thing that I hate being a Black woman is that a lot of things that I see with other cultures, like Mexicans, Asian Americans that come over here, Indians, Native Americans, all of these folks have these beautiful things that are steeped so deep, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years of their culture, and we don't have that. And so when we try to make our own American Black culture, then it's vilified. And
Well,
so,
that's because we're not, because our culture is looked at as substandard and inferior.
right. And that's why you have this little girl that's saying, I don't want to be associated with that, because the media, the mainstream media, vilifies that. But they steal what they like of it. So they steal the music, they steal the lips, they steal the booties, they steal,
They
they
appropriate
steal
the
the
culture.
color, they
Right.
get a tan.
Right.
You're doing all of these things
Right.
that you have decided, I like this part, but I'm going to do it in my own European way. That's where you have the problem to me.
Yeah. And hold on, I think Rondon has some new stuff. What happened? There was some breaking news right before we got on the show today. So talk to us. What happened today?
With the pipe bomber?
Yeah. Are you drunk today?
No.
Okay.
No. I was
Yeah, come on.
just watching the news, and when I got out the shower, I was like, boom, they caught him. Did you see his van though?
Yeah, I saw his van. They were trying to hide that. Did
Yeah,
you see that
man.
too?
I was like,
What
this
was his
dude, he
van?
stuck
I didn't
out-
see the
he
van.
stuck
Oh,
out
I
like
saw
a-
the van. The van. Oh,
He stuck out like a sore thumb. Yeah.
Yeah. Duh. I mean, the dude is way out there. Way out there. He's one of these political nut bags.
So I guess he is a Trump supporter, huh?
Yeah, he was Trump supporter.
Wow.
Did you see the picture of Donald Trump on his van?
Yeah. I thought he was.
And again, this is why we have issues. Again, this is why in this country we can't have nice things. I'm looking day before yesterday when the bomb scare was started, that they sitting around here talking about liberals did it. We're sitting around
Well,
here.
that was. Man, that was.
Man, I don't care about that. This is
Right.
why you can't talk to people. Man, you told me that yesterday. We got to have a conversation. Some people
We
you
do
can't
have to have a conversation.
You can't have a conversation with these people. These people are complete
Yes, you
and
can.
utter.
I have conversations with people all the time.
Oh, you can have them.
I'm vastly
if they
disagree
are
with.
sane. These people are not in the realm of sanity and reality.
But it's people like that everywhere. I'm not talking about
how you gonna
talking
have-
to
how you gonna have a
insane
conversation
people.
with
I'm
them?
talking about having a conversation with people who have opposing views other than yours.
Okay.
Now, can I call an audible real quick?
Go ahead, call audible.
Okay,
I'm
there's a
blitzing.
story that's not getting any coverage right now.
Uh-huh.
I think it happened in Kentucky where that
The guy
a white
killed
guy
two-
walked in there
yeah.
and killed those two black folks.
Right.
And
Senior
then
citizens.
was about to shoot somebody else and said white people don't kill white people. That story is getting no coverage, and so
He was walking past a gentleman's
I feel
car.
bad about the threats, but
Right.
those people are protected. Everybody that's gotten the threat for the bomb are protected. Here are these two older black people
Right.
at the grocery store, mowed down, shot by this
Yeah,
white
gunned down.
supremacist.
Another crazy. This is the people you
Crazy.
want to have conversations with. No.
And I want to make sure that we at least mention that here today.
Okay, no, we were getting into that. That's what I'm saying. It's so much going on. Trust me, next week, we are going to hit all of this. Next week's show, ladies and gentlemen, is why you better get your black eye out and vote. Because I'm going to tell you now, if you don't vote no more at this point, when you see this craziness in this country, don't complain. Okay.
Dang, that was a
I
quick
agree
out.
with the Megyn Kelly firing.
Yeah, yeah, we going to get her too next week.
Definitely.
See, that's what I'm saying. We doing all trending next week, folks. All trending. all trending next week. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank Mr. Roderick Talley. I want to thank this young brother for joining in. I think he had to do a booty call, phone call, but
No, he's on the phone.
we're gonna try to get him some little love tonight. But I want to, of course, thank your head Sanford, Ron Dante for coming off the road. Do it. Thank Hell and Hot Water for joining us in. Of course, Mia, Ms. Woke, thank you. We coming for you next week about this voting and these black nationalists. We coming for you, and of course, me, boy Deacon the Django. We will see you next week. Oh, one last thing. Creed 2. Don't forget, I need 35 butts in a seat in the theater, November 21st. We will see you guys next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Bye, folks.